You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
We left SEC football media days, and of course the media projected order of finish and all conference teams were released. And I had some not so great things to say about my media brethren after the all-conference teams preseason were released. Now, to be very clear, a preseason all-conference team is worth about the same as this rock in my hand. Actually, this rock is way more valuable because this rock is on this table preventing my paper from flying away. A preseason all-conference team can't even help me do that. It's just a thing to create conversation. But I use it as a way to maybe, hopefully, help explain the thought process between what is valid, what is legitimate, what should be considered, what shouldn't, and then you can make your own decisions based on that. The point that I have made forever and ever and ever and ever and ever about the SEC preseason all-conference team that the media selects is, and this year was a great example, 1,100 credentialed media members in Atlanta, 204 submitted a ballot. So like 1 out of every 5. It is in no way a representative sample of the people that were there. And my hand's in the air, I didn't submit my ballot. Sometimes I do. This year I didn't want to. I didn't want to participate in that exercise. I told you how I would have voted in the order of finish, went through all of that, because by and large, I think what you have is, depending on where the event is and who is credentialed, an overwhelming majority of media from a certain market. For example, forever and ever and ever, the thing was in Hoover. And so you had every Alabama fan who had a blog, a website, a YouTube channel, like a Twitter account, like they were all credentialed, and they'd show up wearing Alabama rings on their hats, on their heads, and they'd vote everything for Alabama. It's just what it was. It's where you were. Last year was in Dallas. This year, with Texas expected to have a pretty good year, there was a ton of Texas media there, and I think that was reflected in how things showed up. The thing that I thought and pushed back very much against was Lenora Sellers being chosen by the media as the first-team preseason all-conference quarterback. Again, nothing that matters a lick about anything, except it does illustrate something that I've talked about this entire offseason. The general college football collective does not understand how good Garrett Nussmeier was a season ago. He threw for 4,025 yards and is the only returning 4,000-yard passer in college football. I am not sitting here telling you definitively that Garrett Nussmeier is going to win the Heisman. I am not definitively telling you that LSU is going to go to the playoff or win a championship. I am not definitively telling you he's going to do any of these great things. What I'm telling you is LSU, by a country mile, has the most experienced and accomplished returning quarterback in the SEC. It's not close. If you want to consider Lenora Sellers, you're talking about a guy that for half the season last year, we made fun of him and called him REC specs because he was wearing like literal glasses under his helmet and couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Now, he made some dynamic athletic plays as a running quarterback, namely on a third down play against Clemson, which helped them win the game. He's an outstanding athlete. He's not proven anywhere close that he's ready to be an all-conference caliber quarterback. Same with DJ Lagway. His numbers mirrored Michael Van Buren's. Why are we propping up DJ Lagway instead of Michael Van Buren? Well, because Lagway was a 5-star. People know these go into the things that I've talked about forever. When you come into a preseason, local market people know their team deep and have surface-level understanding of every other team in the league. That's why most of that shouldn't be considered. So when Pro Football Focus puts out their all-conference preseason team, I'm going to pay a little more attention because they at least are trying to use some objective metric and data. They used their data and ranking system to come out with their preseason all-conference teams. And so I am going to put more validity into some sort of objective data point than what someone thinks, unless if we're talking about the coaches. When I see a preseason coaches all-conference poll or all-conference team, I'm going to put some stock into that because these are the coaches that recruited these players, have coached against these players, scouted these players. They just have a better sense because they're in it. Well, Pro Football Focus has, no surprise, Garrett Nussmeier as the leading as the number one Pro Football Focus has Garrett Nussmeier as the preseason all-conference first-team quarterback, because of course you're going to have the leading returning passer in college football as the preseason all-conference quarterback. Like, maybe Arch Manning's going to be great. Maybe Lenora Sellers makes a huge leap this year. Same for DJ Lagway. Maybe. But you got a guy that literally is the leading returning passer in college football. Like, on a team that was 104th in the country in rushing offense. Like, could not run the ball. They said, hey, 13, we need you to put on a cape and do everything. And for a bulk of the season, he did. Yeah, he should be preseason all-conference. Now, there's a lot of other things that have dropped today. The Davy OBrien Award odds have come out. Now, this isn't the preseason Davy OBrien watch list, because half the country is on every watch list. Watch lists are only released to generate conversation around the watch list for their sponsors. The preseason watch list means nothing. You give me odds, now I'm paying attention, because now you're telling me the people that operate the sports books are saying, here's this person's odds of winning this award at the end of the season. They have Arch Manning with the best odds, and I understand it. You're trying to say what is going to generate the most amount of action. And you don't want to leverage yourself with Arch, because Texas is probably going to be good. They got a talented team. Arch is going to throw it a ton. Maybe he wins it, and at that number, he's probably going to get a lot of action. But after Arch at 4-1 is Nussmeier at 5-1. And then Cade Klubnik at 6-1. Then you got to drop for Drew Aller, Julian Sayin, Drew Aller, Julian Sayin are 10-1. Dante Moore, DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers, all at 12-1. Okay, I'm okay with that. Like, you're talking about guys that will probably put up stats, could very well be on good teams, but their teams may be 7-win teams, and they may put up numbers, but are they going to win the award? Like, you have to look at where they're looking at their liability. And it's very clear. Like, they look at Garrett Nussmeier as a guy that's probably going to go throw for 4,000 yards again. And if his team does what we think they're going to do and win 9-10 games and is in contention for the playoff, is going to be in contention for all these awards. Now, the other thing that I stumbled upon this weekend, and maybe I should have led with this, but the other thing I stumbled upon this weekend that I think I know I haven't talked about yet on air, and I'm not sure anybody has talked about yet. Maybe somebody has, and if you have, hat tip, my apologies if I just haven't seen you talk about it. Garrett Nussmeier right now is the third leading, Garrett Nussmeier right now is 9th all-time in LSU career passing yards. He's 9th. Tommy Hotson leads that list with 9,100 yards in his career. Now, he was a starter for 4 years in the 80s. He threw for 9,115 yards. Nussmeier presently is at 5,772 yards. Meaning, Garrett Nussmeier is 3,343 yards away from breaking Tommy Hotson's career passing yardage mark. Remember, Nuss threw for 4,052 yards last season. If he simply replicates the year he has, or is even off by 500 yards, 600 yards, he's going to become LSU's all-time leading passer, which is incredible. I mean, Joe Burrow, who had a 5,000-yard season, is second on the list and trails Hotson by about 600 yards. Jeff Wickersham, Jaden Daniels, Jamarcus Russell, Jamie Howard, Herb Tyler, Zach Mettenberger, and then Nussmeier is at 9. So you're talking about going from 9-1, feeling like a long jump, but it's only 3,343 yards that he needs. Basically, if Nuss goes out and has the type of season he did a year ago, he'll finish his LSU career as the all-time leading passer in program history, passing a mark that Tommy Hotson set in 1989. I mean, you're talking a record that stood for 35 years, very likely will fall this year with Garrett Nussmeier. It's time for us to start talking about Nuss in the all-time historical context at LSU. And I understand that conversation most often always starts with Burrow, Flynn, Mock, Rab. the 4 quarterbacks that led national championship teams. And yes, of course, Jaden Daniels is in the mix as a Heisman winner, and Burt Jones is there as an All-American, and Jamarcus is in there as the number 1 overall pick and a guy that won the Manning Award. But there are tiers to it. And I understand that for Nuss to be in the top tier, he's going to have to win. It's going to have to be playoff, SEC championship, maybe deep run in the playoff, maybe a national championship. But we got to start having this conversation about this guy that, if healthy this year, and, knock on, I don't know if this is wood for Mike or whatever this is, knock on tablecloth, hopefully stays healthy, has an awesome season, and finishes this year having rewritten the LSU record books, maybe wins a Heisman Trophy, gets the postseason all-conference award, which, of course, he should or would if he has the type of season, and maybe becomes a national champion. A lot on the line in an historical context for Garrett Nussmeier in 2025. LSU Tigers just stays away from hitting the practice field to kick this thing off.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.